Hi, I'm Tony, and welcome to the Pixelated Galaxy Quilt-along. If you haven't already, watch the first video that I've linked down below. That's an introduction. It talks about all of the handouts that you've got that you can use for your fabric organization and everything else. But let's get into block number 1. It is Mars. Mars is also known as the red planet. Do you know why? It's because the rocks in the soil are full of iron oxide, also known as rust. So if you've ever looked at rust on some metal, it looks reddish, right? Well, that's why Mars looks red, is because of all the rust. Kind of cool, huh? You should have 3 pages. If you haven't already grabbed your fabrics, the fabric requirements are linked down below in the video. If you haven't grabbed the pattern, it is linked down below on my website. You can get just the pattern as a PDF, or you can get the pattern and a fabric bundle if you haven't yet gotten your fabric. So grab your materials, grab your pattern, and let's take a look at it. So if we look first, these are our cutting instructions. These are how many strips you want to cut. The first part is the 2.5-inch strips. So you want to cut 2.5-inch strips, and you want to cut 1.5-inch strips. You take your take all your 1.5, set them aside for now. Take your 2.5-inch strips, and you want to cut all of these pieces down below. And you can take those, so let's say we have black. We take our 2.5-inch strip, and from that, we want to make sure that we cut 4.5-inch chunks. It's already 2.5 inches wide, so that's going to give us 2.5 by 4.5-inch rectangles. Pretty easy, huh? So you want to make sure you cut all of these solid pieces out. Once you have those cut out, then take all of your 1.5-inch pieces and you want to sew them to each other. This is on page number 2. Sew them to each other. So for example, you're going to take 1 black strip, 1 red strip, sew them together, and then set it aside. And do that for all of them. Then what you want to do is take your strips. So you have your long strips. You want to take those long strips, fold it in half lengthwise, and cut it in half. Don't cut it in half along where you just sewn. You want to make sure you fold that lengthwise. Cut that in half, and then we're going to iron it. So you're going to iron each side towards an opposite color. So one side, you're going to the first case, I've got the example of red and orange. So you want to iron one side towards the red, and the other side towards the orange. So then when you lay them on top of each other, those seams are nested. What are nested seams? Nested seams are when you take 2 pieces of fabric and you butt them up just like this, so it's all lined up. That's how we're going to get perfect points later on in the pattern. So nest those seams and then cut the same exact shapes you just did for those solid ones in those combined pieces. Then it's just a matter of laying the pieces out. So we take a look at row 1. This first piece right there, that black piece, looks the same as this black piece right there. So you're going to look at the pictures on page number 1 and then lay them out, well, and page number 2 because they're combined, and then lay them out. Now, pay attention to these arrows. The arrows are the ways that you iron the seams. So, for example, if we are laying down on row number 4, there is a orange and red piece. Make sure that piece right there on row number 4, that the seam is facing to the left, because that is the way that the arrow is going. But Tony, what happens if I run out of arrows going the right direction? Well, that's easy. Just re-iron it. It's not going to hurt it. Re-iron it the opposite direction. It's fine. So that as you're sewing your pieces together for each row, make sure you're paying attention to those arrows so that you're going in the correct direction. Then, make sure, before you start sewing all those rows together, you have a couple of horizontal pieces. You have 2 in row 2 and 1 in row 6. Sew those horizontal pieces together, then sew all the rows together. Once you have your finished block, trim it down to 20 inches wide by 18 inches high. And then you're going to get your finished Mars block. Any questions? Ask, comment down below, send me an email, Tony, T-O-N-I, @quiltony.com. I'd be more than happy to answer any questions you have. Don't forget, I do stream live a couple of times a week on Twitch. My schedule gets put up on Mondays, so if you ever want to pop in and ask any questions while I'm live and get instant answers, feel free. That's why I stream, so that I can interact and chat with you. I hope you learned something from this video, and I am so excited that we've got this going and block number 1 is here. Don't forget to like this video, follow my YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, my Quite Nerdy Quilters Facebook group. I stream live on Twitch. I think that's all of them. I don't know. I have so many. I don't know. And of course I have tutorials here on YouTube. So if there's any of these things that you're not sure about, like how to nest seams, how to sew strips together, things, I've got tutorials for all of it. Just take a look through my YouTube channel. You can use the search button at the top within my channel to find all the videos. And if they're missing one, let me know. I'd be more than happy to make it. Have a fantastic day, and thank you.